The thief of the throne. Audie sat by the window, her fingers tracing the rim of a teacup that had long gone cold. The rain outside tapped softly against the glass, a steady rhythm that mirrored the unease in her chest. She had always been the strong one, the one who held the family together. But lately, the weight of secrets and betrayals had begun to crack her resolve. It started with the dreams, vivid, haunting visions of a throne surrounded by shadows that whispered her name. She would wake in a cold sweat, her heart pounding. The image of the throne burned into her mind. At first, she dismissed it as stress, but then the signs began to appear in her waking life. The throne and the betrayal. Audie had always known she was different. There was something about her presence, something regal and commanding, that made people either love her or resent her. What she didn't know was that she was next in line for a metaphorical throne, a position of power and influence that others coveted. Two figures in her life had been working tirelessly to steal that throne from her. The first was her sister, Mara, a woman who had always been jealous of Audie's natural charisma and success. The second was their aunt, a woman named Leela, who had always been a shadowy presence in their lives. Mara and Leela had formed an unlikely alliance, their shared envy binding them together. They had stolen from Audie not just money, but opportunities, relationships, and even her sense of self-worth. For years, they had worked behind her back, sabotaging her at every turn. But now, something had shifted. The turning point. Mara, the first energy, had begun to change. The weight of her guilt had become too much to bear. She was sick and tired of being sick and tired, as the saying went. She realized that her life was emptier without Audie in it, and she was ready to make amends. This change sent shockwaves through Leela, the second energy. Leela had always been the mastermind, the one who pulled the strings. She was nervous, scared to death that Mara's change of heart would expose their schemes. Leela had always hated Audie, her resentment festering since the day Audie was born. She was a broken, bitter woman, and the thought of Audie finding happiness, especially with Mara's support, was more than she could bear. The creepy aunt, Leela, was more than just jealous. She was manipulative and cruel. She had paid for fake doctors' reports to discredit Audie, hoping to control her through fear and doubt. But Audie had always been stronger than Leela gave her credit for. Despite the lies and the sabotage, Audie had persevered. Now, Leela was facing the consequences of her actions. Nightmares plagued her, her sleep filled with visions of Audie thriving while she withered away. She was broken-hearted, not out of love, but out of fear. She had lost control, and it terrified her. To make matters worse, Leela was about to face felony charges for sexual assault. Her manipulations had gone too far, and the truth was coming to light. She was mortified, embarrassed, and desperate to maintain her facade. But the walls were closing in, and there was no escape. The return of what was lost, the money that Mara and Leela had stolen from Audie, was finally being returned. It was late, months overdue, but it was coming. God had decreed that it was time for Audie to heal, to move up and move on. And as wild as it sounded, Audie might very well find herself reconciling with Mara. The sister who had once betrayed her was now willing to love her, to stand by her side as she claimed her rightful place on the throne. The final reckoning. Audie sat by the window, the rain still tapping softly against the glass. She felt a strange sense of calm, as though the storm inside her had finally begun to settle. The throne in her dreams no longer felt like a burden, it felt like a promise. She thought of Leela, the creepy aunt who had tried so hard to break her. Leela's time was up. The truth was out, and there was no going back. Audie had found her strength, and with it, she had found her power. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the clouds, Audie smiled. The sun had come out, and with it, a new chapter had begun.